everyone, it's Desiree. I just want to real quick show you the products that we'll be using because that snowflake is extremely unique. It's not going to cut out a snowflake. It's going to cut the dots for the snowflake so that we can stitch. I'm going to set up my mats. I chose a dark gray and a light gray to mat together, and I'm going to real quick put together my sentiment. I'm using the Christmas layered die, of course from Paper Rose. I die cut that 3 times from black cardstock. I'm going to layer those up, and this die also comes with the cloud that sits, or the shadow, however we call that, the background. And I die cut that from vellum, and I'm going to layer that up on top of that piece. Now, of course, I lost the eye. The dot for the eye. Yes. So you'll see what I use to put that in there. Always have it on hand. Absolutely. Once that's set, I'm going to set that aside to let that dry. And we're going to do some stitching. So you can see I die cut it 3 times onto a piece of pattern paper. And you'll see the collection at the end. It's called Silver Bells, and it's a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And that's what I wanted to show here with this die, because it's not cutting out the image itself, it's cutting out the illusion with the dots of the snowflake. This looks absolutely beautiful on pattern paper. Why not? Let's stitch on our pattern paper and add even more texture and glitz and shimmer and shine to what we already have. The thread that I'm using is a DMC floss, metallic floss. Metallic floss is very fiddly. It is extremely annoying to work with, but it's absolutely gorgeous. If you don't like fiddly, but you want it to look great, you could certainly get a thread that is in a gold tone. Not necessarily a metallic. It's just a different filament, and it just does not stay well in your needle. When it comes to using these threads, I will use a very small piece of Scotch tape in the back so that it's easier to hold. I don't like to knot. It's just something that I've grown from cross-stitching. Cross-stitching, you don't knot. You do not knot. I can hear my sister screaming in my head, don't knot, you don't knot, you cross over, okay. And that's what I do for these as well. And if you do put those knots in the back, that's okay. I mean, you certainly can. I knot when I'm done, but it's just a different knot. It wouldn't be as big as what you would need so that it wouldn't go through these holes. These holes are a great size. So you could use multiple strands of the floss that you are using and not worry about it ripping or expanding that hole. You can see I'm only doing a section of the image. Now for ending, I weave it through the strands in the back. And then for this, I will come in with some tape and just glue that down. Usually I will split those threads around the thread and tie a knot, but because of the tape that I'm going to use, it's going to hold that in place. And that's going to be my 2-inch film tape that I will be using. I want to adhere this panel onto a piece of fun foam, and I have great adhesion when it comes to layering those pieces with this tape, and it's going to hold it. You can see I did all 3 of them, showing all 3. You all would have gone absolutely crazy watching all of that. I'm going to remove the release paper, and then I will put my piece of foam on top of that in the center. I did not take it to the edge, and then I'll just put another layer of the film tape. You can certainly use glue. Again, use what you have. I just like this adhesive when it comes to this type of an application, especially when I'm stitching as well. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue behind the sentiment on the other side of the vellum and put that right across. And I grabbed a Mary from their pre-printed sentiments and just cut that. And I'm going to place that on top of that. A black glaze pen is your friend. And I'm just putting the eye on top of my Christmas. No one will know unless they know they're looking. Now, I also grabbed another paper pack from them called One of a Kind, some beautiful images. And I just thought a lot of the times our pattern papers have scenes and we don't know what to do with them. This is perfect. I cut this scene down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to mat it onto a piece of black cardstock. These both are going on standard A2 size card bases, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And it was just perfect. I am using the Hello Large layered die here. It's a beautiful font. And again, it has that shadow in the back. And I did that in black cardstock. And I did the top in a gold, a brushed gold, and then die cut it 2 more times from ivory from my scrap bin so that I could get some dimension on that. But you can see just with that die sitting in there, it looks like it's a sun. It looks like it's glowing over that sentiment, that image that's being created on the pattern paper. And I did stitch that just a little bit differently. Instead of just doing the sections that I did for the Christmas card, I actually did the lines in between as well. I'm also showing you that this die can be stretched for any type of card, whether wouldn't it be great for a July 4th card? Make it look like fireworks, or a birthday for a celebration. Again, think outside the box when it comes to your dies. I added gemstones to those areas that I did not stitch. So you have 2 different looks, 2 very different cards using the die. That's the one pattern paper set that I used, and that's the other one that I used. So I hope I gave you some ideas when it comes to the stitched snowflake die. And how you can use it in your card making. All the products that I used will be listed down below. And if you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down in the comment section down below as well. Enjoy your time being creative and creating your art. It's unique and it's yours. And enjoy it. Enjoy the process. But most of all, remember what's most important. Always be creative. And I'll talk to you all in the next one. Till then.